viewers, and welcome then to my first look at MotoGP 2013. The game's going to be out in a few weeks' time. The demo is going to be with you shortly, but I finally got my hands on the game. I played with the preview build, and this introduction will be a mix of the preview build and the final code that we see here as well. So it's a nice mix. So on to the final game that we have here, and you start off and you can personalize your own rider, and we're going to go through a lot of the options in this video today. So helmet option, then let's take a look at those. We have a range of those, deciding which one. Obviously some need to be unlocked. That goes with my overalls, so I'll go with that design, and we can change the colors as well on the overalls. There's a number of different aspects we can change on those. This relates primarily to the boots and gloves, as you can see. So what to go for? I think I'll go with the red. Go in keeping with what I have. Race number, you can choose what race number you want on your bike. What to go for? It's always a decision, isn't it? I decided to go with 55. No reason behind that, really. And then font style, you can choose the font style for your number, so you can have different font styles. I'll just go into that again there. Whoops, that's it. So I'll just stick with the default number 1. It seems to be the standard way they do these things. Personal data, so I've put my name in and all that detail now, and now I've moved on to my rider look and portrait. See a number of options that you have here. Lots of happy chaps and happy ladies, depending on who you want to ride as. So there we go, something for everyone. Decisions. Who am I going to be? How am I going to spend my life being on MotoGP? Let's see now. Well, we'll pick... which chap shall we pick here? We'll go with this one. And now there we go, you can see the details in there. Nationality, well obviously I'm from the UK, so let's find that flag. And age, we'll go with 25, I think. And that's that sorted, so that's my key details. Crew, you can have your own rider crew, so personal manager. Let's find somebody here. Let's see. He looks like a happy chap. Graham Cox, I think it's going to be. Graham Cox is going to be my personal manager. And riding style, we're going to go with balanced. We might check out the other styles as well. See, we've got elbows up, so we've got all the different biking styles you can have to change the body language of your rider. I think this is great, and it tells you the information there of which riders ride with which riding styles. Of course, now they lean over a lot more on the bikes, and we've seen that with Marquez in particular, shoulders out, and of course Marc Marquez body out. Goodness, the guy rides so low now, it's unbelievable how they throw these bikes into corners. And of course old school, which is the classic. I like the old school, get your knee down. That's what it's supposed to be, not get your elbow down. Goodness, kids these days. So, confirm and start. And we'll go in there. And we look at the different MotoGP classes that we see available in the game. So all the different classes are there, Moto3, Moto2, and of course MotoGP. Whichever one you'd like to ride in. Of course you have the championship and career options, work your way up, multiplayer options. So as well as the split screen mode, My GP, so we've seen the rider customization. And we've been in there already, so we'll back out of that one. Offline stats. We'll take a look at that, and you can see that obviously I've not played the game yet, so just going through setting up my rider. As I say, it's the first time, showing you guys as soon as it's arrived, pictures. You can earn pictures throughout the game, and very nice pictures they are too. Really nice detailed photographs from the world of MotoGP, as well as brief videos that you can earn as you work your way up and you level up in the game. So Grand Prix, I'll be going to a Grand Prix shortly. Let's look in the options, controller options. So for those that want to have a look at the options, here we go. You've got your traction control, which you can increase and decrease. Lots of detail in the game. It's all in there. Change your rider, change the body language, change how complex you want the bike to be. Everything is in there now. In these bikes, they do use all kinds of technology now. So really, it's whatever's good for you and suits your riding style. They've given you the option of it in there. So there is a lot of detail. Give you a good look at all those details there. Lovely backgrounds as well, the music, the polish to all of this. It's fantastic to see the love that's gone into producing it. All the other information there you need for the racing. I think that just about covers everything there could possibly be, and of course the audio details as well, which are all quite standard. We won't muck about any of that right now. And so looking at Grand Prix, going into a Grand Prix, what options do we see straight away? So Jorge Lorenzo, I select my first race to go in as Jorge Lorenzo, which you'll see in an upcoming video. Some, such as Cal Crutchlow, I was hoping to ride as. He's locked away at the moment. Great to see Cal fulfilling his potential this year, much more than he has done in previous years. And choosing tracks, all the tracks in there from the season, lovingly recreated, lots of detail. As I decide which one I'm going to go for. It's a decision-making process, isn't it, on that one? And I'll go with Jerez on that race. And so these options will be presented before the race when it's actually shown as well, so you see which race this relates to. But it was a nice opportunity for me to go through these options, share them with you, and look at what we have available. So everything is there. I think it's fair to say that you've seen through this options video so far. And now just more options. The options, they just go on and on, but they've given you all complete flexibility over what you want from your MotoGP experience. And of course there is a rewind option as well. I haven't used the rewind yet because I don't. I'm hardcore. I'm sure a lot of real riders would love a bit of rewind now and again. Marc Marquez would probably like that from the previous race at Mugello. So of course, what else are you going to see? Well, we've gone through the options. Well, the first thing I needed to do was learn how the bike handled and was test out the different handling options available. So here you can see I've made a range of different videos that test the standard, the semi-pro and the pro handling models. Do click on those links and they'll take you to extended videos, which are basically me rambling on for a bunch of laps while gradually testing out different braking, different types of turning, and really just getting a feel for the different handling models that are available. The MotoGP bikes are the most challenging bikes to ride in the game by some margin, and it's great that they've conveyed that power in the way the rider goes around the corners and a feel for it as well. How realistic it looks generally depends on how good you are and how precise you are at the corners. If you're quite precise, it will look very realistic. If you're not, then you can find the bike moving, and that really depends on your riding style. So obviously standard is slightly slower. Following that, we have the handling test I wanted to share with you here. So if you didn't want to watch all those videos, this is the nuts and bolts of it. Standard, semi-pro and pro. Pro, there you can see I'm slightly slower. It has separate brakes, so I'm applying the different brakes and trying to learn the braking pressures. You have the standard to the to the far right is the pro, to the standard is the far left. And of course you can see there the bike is slower to turn, but it's much more stable It doesn't move about so much on its suspension. The Semi-Pro in the middle is a nice balance between the two. The bike moves and turns quicker. It's much more maneuverable, and you'll see the body language of the rider moving much quicker from side to side. So you can throw the bike in much quicker. It also applies its power much quicker as well, so you can get a lot more body language, a lot more wheel spin on the exit of corners. And of course, back to the Pro on the right there, you can see the bike moves around a lot, and it's challenging on the brakes, trying to find the balance. The real difference between the three is that I found, as you can see, Semi-Pro and Standard are actually identical at this point on the lap. So you can see the actual speed of the bikes is identical. It really is down to rider skill, and at the moment I simply don't have I haven't found that all the braking points correctly on the Pro model to really keep up with those other two. And I think you'll see a mistake here from the Semi-Pro in a moment on the final corner. We just go through these two corners here, and you can see it's very close between Semi-Pro and Standard. We're riding up to this final corner, and you'll see the Semi-Pro, I make a mistake where I stand the rider up slightly in the middle of the corner. Let's just see it, focusing on that, go a bit wide, and just, that's it, got the back end out there, had to come out the power slightly to keep on the bike, and that cost me that time down the final straight. So you can see very balanced between the different handling models and what you're going to be expecting in these upcoming videos. We're also going to be having the race videos, which go through every type of bike in the game. You see here the Moto 3 class racing around Silverstone, so we're going to be looking at this in more detail. Really just again getting a feel for the first players and people who have not played biking games before and their introduction to the game. It's moving swiftly onto the Moto 2 class. Again, this increases the difficulty setting, and again the handling and everything else. This is round Catalunya here, great circuit to really practice on, and of course Jorge Lorenzo rounds Jerez here. I like Jerez. I think it's a very challenging circuit. It's got ups and downs, but it's got a nice flow to it at the same time, and it's important to test your bike on circuits that have a nice flow when you're first getting into the game. The game has a number of different features, obviously really nice replay modes and stuff like that, as well as detailed photo modes, and you can see here the detail on some of the bikes. I've been looking at all the bikes in a bit more detail. We can see Bradley Smith here, and it's nice to see the work that's gone into replicating these bikes this season. Certainly Milestone have made a step up in terms of the fidelity of the graphics and lighting in particular. The lighting has improved a lot. Really nice lighting that they've been getting out of this, and this is the PS3 version, so the PC and Xbox versions will look even better than this one. It's great to see what they've been extracting from it so far. Certainly from a MotoGP fan, it's got everything you're going to want there from a MotoGP game so far, and I'm just trying to find an angle where I wanted to take the photo, but I did like the way the sunlight hit the bike there, the front brake disc and everything else. It's nice to see the detail on the leathers all lined up there. I'm taking my photo before moving on. We see it from a preview version here as well, Cal Crutchlow doing a bit of riding action around Valencia. And of course it's actually moved on a lot since that version. It's very smooth now, there's none of that jerking there, but I wanted to show you a little bit of the biking action taking place between the different riders, jostling for position, and it's nice to see the different body language of the riders as well. You really can see that they've worked to try and get an idea on how each rider behaves on each circuit, which riders suit which circuits and everything else. It's been an interesting season so far. Great for Cal, working his way up. Not too many broken bones yet. Hopefully he'll have a better season that really shows his potential. Now, if you'd like to see any of those races that we've been showing, do click on one of these links here as well, and you can click and see those races. They'll be put up over the coming days, and of course you can see every angle as well. I've included the TV cameras, the onboard bike, both front and rear, and of course these are running without tyre wear at the moment. This was just a nice introduction to the different modes, the different circuits and rider types and everything else, and then there'll be more complex videos no doubt going up in the coming days and weeks, which go through the different handling models and those details as well. So there is loads in this game to explore, viewers. I've enjoyed it a great deal so far, it has to be said, and I'm interested to get your feedback on the demo when it's going to be released in the next few days as well. It'll certainly be interesting getting everybody's feedback. I think biking's had quite a negative feedback from people for some time, and I think it'll be interesting to see what they think of this sort of work and investment that Milestone have clearly put into MotoGP to create this excellent representation of the sport. So that's it from me for now on this video. There's lots more coverage to come. Do click on those links and see the many annotations through this video. And as ever, there'll be more MotoGP action and more racing gaming news from me very soon.